Welcome today to the first ever Straight from Hearts podcast. I am Jack Hart. I'm going to be your moderator. I am the on talent for Heart Media Group. We are so thrilled to be here to start out the first ever podcast with everyone. First off, let's start with today. So we're here at the Effingham Unit 40 schools. We're excited to really talk about the schools, talk about new proposals, ideas. But first of all, let's introduce ourselves, starting over here with Miss Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Baker. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Schools here for Unit 40.
I'm Abra Woomer, and I am blessed to serve the children at Southside as a second grade teacher.
And I'm Jessica Reeder, and I am the principal at Southside School.
Awesome. Let's welcome. It's nice to have you guys here today. We're excited for you to be joining this wonderful podcast. And we're going to start out here with Miss Kelsey over here again. So, Kelsey, why podcast? Why today? Why do you guys decide, all right, let's start a podcast here for the school district?
Sure. So we're wrapping up the 2025 school year, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to celebrate and be able to promote our district and what good things are happening here. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to tell the community as well as Hearts Nation everything that we're doing to promote our kids and to make them the best students and adults that we can.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So Effingham schools, a lot of people aren't familiar with. Tell us, how many students you guys, what type of buildings, what do you guys have to offer here at Effingham? What does everything look like?
Sure. So we currently have 7 buildings, 6 of which we own. 1 building we currently rent. That would be our Little Hearts Daycare. We enroll 2,326 students in those buildings. So that's pretty well the makeup. We have a pre-K through 12th grade. Our daycare does contribute to that as well.
Awesome. So, futuristic vision for Effingham. How do we improve? How do you guys engage? How do we, make our students' learning successful as long as bringing safety to the and our best facilities to your guys' district? So, start out with you guys. You have a vision. Looking at phase 1. What does phase 1 have? What is it? What's combined into it? Why phase 1? Why is it so important to bring for the students here?
So our Board of Education passed phase 1, which is a $55 million project proposal, so updating facilities. That would include a new K-2 building at about $45 million, a Southside Elementary renovation in which we could move our Little Hearts Daycare into. That way we can expand our education beyond the pre-K that we're currently doing, and also be able to expand to the number of students that we are providing daycare for. We're in a deficit down here as far as finding daycare for our students, and so it would be a great opportunity for all kids. We also could begin our education at birth then, essentially. We also would be looking at a central grade school renovation of about $1.8 million, and then some paving projects, which include central grade school, Effingham High School, student, staff, and sports complex.
Wonderful. Yeah, so, with these wonderful ideas and projects you guys have, come up to with phase 1, how did this come to be? How did you guys start with the idea? Why now? How did this begin? How did you guys think of these are the most important things you guys want to focus on as a school district?
Sure. So it began in 2022 with a strategic plan. So we brought in a lot of community members, teachers, students, all came together in the evening to figure out what's our vision, where are we going, we need a plan for Effingham Unit 40. And during that time, Robin Klosterman, who was our board president at the time, who has since passed, had a primary focus on our libraries as well as our educational institutions and promoting the education of students in Unit 40.
Awesome. No, that's wonderful. So with all the proposals, all the aspects to phase 1, we're going to start out with the K2 new building. We'll start here with Jessica. Jessica, you know most about the buildings, the elementary schools, the K2 building. So first off, tell us about the building now. What do you guys decide to do with it? What renovations and new ideas to help the students have a successful learning opportunity that you guys are going to be providing?
Absolutely. So currently we have a separate buildings, kindergarten building, and then a first and second grade building. Prior to this summer, we had 3 second grade classes that were housed out at Central Grade School. So we are moving those back to the Southside property with our mobile unit that is being placed today, actually. So we are making steps to get everybody back together, but it's still only 2 grade levels that are together. So the goal is to get a K through 2 building. So why. If we're functioning, we're making steps, why is it important? The big thing is unity for our staff and students. If you think about how many buildings a student goes through before they even get to 5th grade, it could be the Little Hearts Daycare, Eastside Preschool, ELC for kindergarten, Southside. So prior to 3rd grade, they would be in 4 different schools. So that's a lot of transition for children who are very, very young. It's a lot of transition for families and knowing the rules at each building, and even just dropping off in the morning. That's a nerve-wracking process.
Oh, yeah.
And when you switch that much, it's hard for everybody. Transportation is another thing that we look at. We're busing kids all over town, and it would be so much easier if we had less stops of where we were going. Educational opportunities, just being able to work together, collaborate together, not just students, but staff alike. Abra, you're nodding over here. I know that's a passion of yours. If you want to hop in on that.
Collaboration is key, obviously. So I think we have to look at how do we best serve children, and when teachers are able to collaborate and share ideas, that's when we can be most impactful. I think it's also very relevant to share that, education isn't what it was even 5 years ago. We are facing dramatic changes in specialized instruction. And most recently, I think it was just last week, there was a government report that literally cited the chronic diseases and illnesses that we're dealing with children. And in that report, it cited challenges such as increased ADHD, mental health, depression, anxiety. These are things that have very much changed how we have to look at education. And this is something that we have to come together as a team in order to make a difference. And specialized education and those needs are just something that's increasing. And when we built these schools years ago, that infrastructure wasn't built with these types of programs in mind. There used to be a time where you would see retirees walk across the stage, and when they were asked, well, what's changed and what hasn't changed in education? Almost all of them would say, well, the one thing that hasn't changed are the children. That's simply just not true. Again, I can't emphasize enough the challenges that we have as a community to meet the needs of our most vulnerable population, the kids in this district. And how can we come together? And certainly meeting infrastructure needs is one of those ways where we can contribute to thriving children who ultimately come and become a part of a thriving community in Effingham. So that's where I get really passionate, because my blessing is to have the ability to serve children through teaching and to make a difference, hopefully, with every kid that I have the opportunity to serve. And I know my teammates feel the very same way.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's definitely with today and the transition of elementary, and that's a very powerful message that you say with students. They need to have the top, quality ways to have the education, the most staff, the most support. I know a lot of students with everything that's happened in the past and, recent years, new technology, there's a lot of unknowns out there. So it's very, it's important to 100% step in there and say, how can we help to support the children, the families, the communities? That's very crucial for your guys' success in the future.
Absolutely. And we're talking about early elementary. Your whole educational career is built on this foundation. And if you look at it like a house, if you have a shaky foundation, you're going to have a shaky house the whole rest of the time. So let's pour into these young kids, and let's make that foundation strong. And so they can be strong leaders and contribute to our community post-graduation.
Exactly, and these are your future presidents,
Absolutely.
Future lawmakers, future business owners. That's who we need to pour 100% all of our resources into. So that's what's wonderful, powerful. Go ahead, Abra, as well.
Just to speak on that, but and I want to be very, very clear. And again, in order to meet these needs and invest in the needs of our children, currently, right now, with the infrastructure that we have, we're triple corridored and in some situations double corridored to meet the needs of children. When you're talking about teachers, 2 or 3 teachers sharing physical space is difficult at best. So these are not wants. these are needs. These are needs to make a difference for the sake of our kids and what that future looks like. And I would welcome anybody and challenge anybody, become a mentor. Talk to the people in our community who are mentors and can speak to the needs of the children. Come and visit our schools. Anybody is welcome in my classroom. I think people in the community can say, if Aber wants you to come in, Aber will welcome you in. Come and see the needs and what we need to do to meet those. And infrastructure is a critical component of making that happen. And I just know as a community, sharing what that looks like so that we can have a growing, thriving community in the future is critical. And you contrast that with ambitious, like you just said, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We also are preparing kids for jobs that didn't even exist just 5 years ago. That's the evolution of the job market. So if we're going to continue to have a growing, thriving community in Effingham, it's critical that our infrastructure allows us to meet the needs of the children that we're serving through education.
No, 100%. Aber, you do a wonderful job out there at the schools, and we appreciate you being there for all the students. And, one thing a lot of people don't know is, you see the outside, you don't understand the inside. You have the inside scope, you see what goes on in there, and that's why these resources and everything they're so important. So we're going to transition here. So we got the K2 new building. I think it's going to be a wonderful idea, guys. I think it's going to be wonderful to really build into the future generation and their future. So look at the Southside School. So we're going to transition over there. Jessica, can you tell me a little about the Southside School, what you guys are thinking, what the money for that is going to be going towards to support the community?
Well, in the hopes of building the K through 2 building, then the students and staff at Southside would move into that, leaving Southside, which is a district-owned building, open for whatever our needs are. Well, our needs come from the Little Hearts Daycare Center. And Kelsey alluded to this earlier of we have a huge shortage. We currently have 80 students on a wait list for Little Hearts.
Oh, man.
80. And I mean, that's growing every single day. And how great would it be if we get our hands on kiddos at birth and, they know us and we know them and what their needs are and how we can prepare for the future with them. But getting the building ready, there's a lot that goes into it to run a daycare, and a lot of state agencies that you have to go through, a lot of regulations that they have. So it would be getting the building ready to meet all of those codes for younger children. But the biggest thing is we would have no more rental cost. So that month by month payment that we have, we wouldn't have to worry about that because we already own the building.
Yeah, and that saves a lot of money. You think you're investing this money in, but you look in the future, you go down the road, you're saving a lot of money. And I think, once again, with, allowing, you have 80 people on a waiting list, it's unreal. I think every children here, they need to be educated. They need to be out there socializing. I think with my generation as a younger generation, we don't have the social skills that a lot of people don't have. And I think having the opportunity to be in school at an early age is going to provide those social skills. I think with using Southside to your advantage to bring in those new 80, to have the daycare fund there, I think it'd be just crucial, once again, with having more space, as we said, with the K2 building.
Yes.
So to transition from that with the Southside building and building on, we're going to go to our more older kids here, little steps up, and we're looking at the Central Grade School renovations.
Yeah.
Go over there, Jessica. Can you tell us about the Central Grade School renovations? What's your thought there? How is that going to help the students in the grade schools thrive and flourish in the future?
Absolutely. So the two parts of the project that we would be looking at are a library upgrade and then a gym upgrade. So the gym floor and bleachers. And just the opportunities that this would give students. And reading is the foundation of our education system. And, how cool would it be to make the library a place where students want to be? And the district has been great about updating libraries as we go, and Central's is the next in line, but we've seen it firsthand of how much kids want to be in our library space because it's cool and it's fun and it's engaging. And I know the junior high and high school, they've had those opportunities as well. And that's where kids want to be. And it's a safe place for them to be. It's a place for them to just get information and be themselves and let themselves down just a little bit, where, you know, you're not on all the time like you are in the typical classroom.
Of course, yeah.
So then going to the gym, I mean, so many opportunities for indoor usage. So it's not just they're at the school with the PE classes or ways to engage the students. I know they do a lot of fun activities and different programs that they do, but bringing in ways for students to get involved after school. Whether it's sports or, you know, our after school program, just providing that place that it's up to date, it's safe, it's ways for kids to have other outlets besides just the academic.
Of course.
We want well-rounded children. That's the whole goal of education. Yes. So another part of that is if we have these spaces, we can rent it to the community and have those opportunities available, because we want the community in our schools and seeing what we're doing, and what better way than to have them come in through, especially a brand new facility too.
Oh, 100%, yeah. No, it's nice to have that, you know, the community part aspect. I love that aspect to say, okay, we can use this space not only for after school to bring these kids that social aspect that they need, the out of school connection, the friendships that they'll make, the lifetime, you know, memories. I think it's wonderful. It's all about the children no matter what. It's the most important thing that I think is said in education. And to bring in the community aspect and say, okay, we can use this for, you know, basketball games, volleyball games, events going on, cheerleading competitions. I know that's big in the South. My sister did it for a while. So these type of aspects with a brand new gym is going to be wonderful. The library, once again, as well. Kids don't read as much, you know, it's not seen. If you can get a kid in there saying brand new library, it's this cool, fun, exciting place out of the classroom. It gets exciting. You know, I always thought it was exciting back when I was younger and I could go to the library and just enjoy some time on a little beanbag or whatever and read a bit. So I think both those renovations are going to be very successful, and, you know, I think it'd be a great improvement to help our students flourish once again in their education. So to piggyback off that, we're going to look over here. We're going to switch to our last part of the phase. Over here with Kelsey once again. We're looking at the paving projects. What new paving projects are you thinking about having? Why the paving projects? What's so important about that aspect of the phase one?
Yeah, so some of the paving projects that we're looking at and we have a need for are Central Grade School down on the north end. Some of that asphalt there is crumbling. It's not really safe, so we definitely need to tear that out and replace that. Another huge paving project is our high school parking lots, and that includes the student parking lot, the staff, and also the sports complex. We have people coming from other communities to our facility for athletic events, you know, graduations, all kinds of different activities that we host there. And our parking lot is literally crumbling to gravel. It is falling apart as they're driving on it. And you know, that was original to that building. That building was built in 1998. So it's time that we upgrade and we tear out and we pour new.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I mean, it's very, with everyone driving, everyone usually has cars, no, you know, transportation, you know, especially for buses, for cars coming in there, everyone have a place to park. And with a community that's growing, you're going to have more and more people. I think it's crucial to students, parents have an easy way to access to get to school, drop them off, make their time, get into work. I think that's definitely crucial and very important. So to go off that with everything, you know, we have tax rates. Schools have tax rates. We talk about tax rates. It's a tough question. It's something that's always out of your hands. It's something you guys can control as much. Effingham Schools here, current tax rate of 3.55, which once again is the 46 is ranked as 46th lowest tax rate among 400 unit schools districts in the state of Illinois. You know, it's a lower rate. It's hard to work with. Can you, Kelsey, tell us more about that tax rate and how crucial it really is?
Absolutely. So the tax rate is very important. You know, that's important for our community because people are paying taxes. It's important for us because we're receiving the, you know, some of the money. Looking at Effingham County schools, the tax rate in Altamont is 4.10, Diedrich is 3.90, Beecher City 3.69, T-Town is 3.59, and then, of course, Effingham, we're 3.55. So we're the lowest of all of our Effingham County schools. And you know, we pride ourselves in that tax rate, and we've pretty well tried to maintain that 3.5 range for our people. I will say, historically, back to 2014, our tax rate was 3.62. You know, we did dip down into the 3.5s, and we got pretty low. We've maintained that at 3.55. But that's very important for our projects, and it establishes our funding for how we're going to be able to pay for the things that we need done to provide the education for our students.
Of course. All right, so we continue talking about the tax rates. The community has an aspect. A lot of people say they're paying more for taxes right now. Why is the district not have an effect on that? How are you guys dealing with that problem? Kelsey, you'd love to elaborate on that. It'd be interesting.
Absolutely. So as I said, we've maintained the tax rate at 3.55 or 3.5, and we've held that for 10 years. You know, we've upheld our side of maintaining the tax rate, which in turn, I know people are saying their taxes are increasing, but that's because your property values are increasing in Effingham. Your houses are worth more. The tax assessor is saying that your home that you bought for $100,000, you know, 20 years ago, is now valued at $200,000. That's why your taxes are going up and increasing. And that's a great problem to have here in Effingham. That means that our town is valuable and people want to live here, and your homes are valuable. You want your home value to go up. You don't want to buy a house for $100,000 and then they tell you that your home is only worth $50,000, because then how are you going to be able to sell it? And then that affects our schools. So I understand that everyone says that their taxes are going up, but that's not the portion that Effingham Unit 40 controls. We've been able to maintain the tax rate at 3.55.
No, it's great to, you know, you guys pride on that lower tax rate. You say, okay, we're helping out families, communities with that. But also, if you look at it, that money helps you guys, you know, build projects like this, you know, support you guys' community and helping with all the schools. So with that being right, with the tax rate and everything out there in place, how do you guys plan on paying for this entire phase? What is you guys' plan? What is your next steps to go with trying to get the fundraising for this new project?
Yeah. So the district has the eligibility of bonding $73 million, but we're currently seeking bonds for $55 million. So that would be $38 million in funding bonds and $19 million in working cash bonds. So that would give us the ability to do all of the projects that we just discussed and be able to provide the education for our students, as well as a safe environment for our staff and students.
No, that's wonderful, and I think that's going to be a great way to raise that money and support. Looking, you know, inflation, it's very key to what we have today. Inflation's still going up, hopefully at a slower rate as it has since 2020. Mm-hmm. But inflation is something you have to take into consideration if you do the project now versus down the road. So looking at $55 million, what is inflation? How does it affect your guys' stance? How does it affect how much more money you'd have to pay down the road? Tell me a little bit about the inflation effects on the project.
So inflation right now, according to Turner Construction Company, inflation's about 4.32%. So what that would do if we carried these projects across another 5 years, that would take it from a $55 million project to a $68 million project, just to complete everything that we need to provide a safe environment for our students.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, we're hoping that you guys can find the money, have the success, and I think this plan and, you know, hopefully with inflation right now, can we get this done? Can this project be put together? We think that would be wonderful. So pass it over here to Abra. Abra, talk about your mission. Talk about what Effingham Schools is. What do you guys thrive off of? What makes Effingham Schools different than the other schools in the state?
I just think it's our dedication to serving the children to the very best of our ability. Again, this isn't just looking at the pigeonhole of, you know, our schools, but rather it's the vision of the community at large. Our whole goal, and when we're committing to these students and helping them to become the best that they can be, is to develop students who want to come back and invest their talents and their skills as future leaders and entrepreneurs in our town. This is about growing Effingham together. And I think what's important about this podcast is to recognize this isn't just a Unit 40 initiative. This is about our community and bringing our community alongside us so that we truly can be the best of the best in the state. You know, when you have thriving communities, they have thriving schools, and vice versa. So it's about working together with our community stakeholders to have the best of the best in this town. We want Effingham, Illinois, to be known as the leader in regards to town and community in this state. And that's something that's very important to us, and to invest in every student that comes our way. I think that brings us back to, in 2022, I believe, is when we started. We had a strategic planning initiative, and it was at that time in 2022 that we began to recognize that our infrastructure simply wasn't meeting the needs. Our students' needs were outpacing what our current infrastructure could provide. So at that point, we brought community members, business owners, teachers, parents, alongside us and said, what do we need to do? We don't want this to just be coming from Unit 40, but again, a community initiative to be the best that we can possibly be.
Of course.
From that, there became an assessment needs situation where architects were brought in, and they actually analyzed the needs of our current buildings and what we would need to do in order to provide students with the best experience that we can provide them, and in helping them to become who we know they can become and provide those types of needs. So that assessment was given to our community, and we actually offered several community engagement meetings where our entire town was invited to come and be a voice in how can we work alongside together for the sake of our community and the sake of becoming the best that we can be as Effingham, and make a difference for the most vulnerable in our town, the children who walk through the doors of the public schools. And again, I can't emphasize enough, when we're talking public schools, we're talking specialized instruction, significantly medically compromised, students with, we're seeing an increase of mental challenges and so forth. And alongside, we want ambitious science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because we want to grow future leaders to come back into this town. And from those community engagement meetings, our community members who showed up and came to those, they voiced their opinion and how can we come together? What can that plan look like? And we further gathered information through a survey that was also given to our community members. And we've looked at all of that data. And Kelsey, I don't know if you want to speak on some of that as well. How has that data and everything that came together in that culmination of those meetings, how are we using that as we drive forward to make this happen for our town?
Sure. So after we surveyed, we took those results and we met and we came up with a plan, and that's where we are with our 55 million in projects. We see the need. We see that, Unit 40 and the whole Effingham community wants to grow. We want to provide the best of the best for all of our kids. And so we're answering to what the survey results showed us.
No, and that's wonderful. I mean, your message, it's powerful. It shows you guys are really a team. I played college soccer. I know what it has to be a team. I played soccer my whole life. If one part of the team is off, then it's not together. But you guys really show how much of a team, from the top superintendent all the way down to a single teacher, how much you guys care about these students, how much you guys want them to thrive in the future. And that sets an important message. It puts you guys apart from any community that doesn't work as a team. And I think that team aspect, to bring in the community together and bring you guys as a whole unit, it's just wonderful. It's wonderful there. Jessica, I don't know if you have any thoughts as well with, you've seen it, you've been a principal, you've been around it. What's wonderful about Effingham? What's stuff that you've seen that's brought it shows a difference? Why Effingham? Why now? Why is this wonderful place, thriving? Why do these kids matter so much?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with team, and it's not just something we say, we believe it to our core, each one of us, and we show it in different ways, and each building is able to produce that team aspect in different ways, which I think makes our district really, really cool, is that you can show your individual personality, but we are very much coming together for that team approach and the exact same outcome of what Abra said so well, of developing our citizens for the future. And it's been a neat process to see. This has only been my second year here in the district, but from even my interview, it was very, very clear of where this district was heading. And I think it's so neat to be part of it.
Of course, and I think it's wonderful. I think from each one of you, I appreciate all of your guys' thoughts, information. We're excited for the future of Effingham. Effingham has a lot of opportunity. You've got 2 major interstates that come through here. There's a lot to build off of. It's a wonderful community that's growing. It's becoming very successful, and we need to have the projects, the support that we can to make sure the school district, we're our future employees of the area, we're our future business people, legislative people of the area can thrive and, learn at the best abilities. There's a lot of changes happened in the world in the last couple of years, and I think you guys are right on top of it. I think from top to bottom, you guys have got it down. And I think team and community, you guys' most important aspects, I think that's going to be key for the future. So we sincerely hope that you guys loved the information today, really helpful to our audience. We thought it was very helpful to supporters to talk about education at Effingham schools. We hope that you guys really take this information with a lot of thought and heart, and as we say there, We think that we're hoping to do this in the next coming months to keep you guys engaged with the community, seeing what's going in on the inside of Effingham schools. I think you parents, students, anyone outside to show this inside aspect that a lot of people don't get to see is going to be wonderful. And I'm very excited that you guys have decided to create a podcast and talk about everything here. So to get in contact with any of them, the emails will be here on the screen. You will see the emails up there. You can contact as well at 217-540-1501. This is Straight from the Heart podcast. Thank you guys for being here. You guys did a wonderful job. We're excited to see you next time. Go Hearts.